Environmental Guardian Online, or EGO. Hey guys, my name is Crazy Penguin, and this is your guide to EGO in Defiance. EGO is an alien technology AI implant that basically makes you a superhero. It unlocks your potential as a human being or Voltan, granting you the use of some special abilities, the first of which is Blur. This EGO power provides you with enhanced movement speed, making you run faster for a short period of time. It can be activated in or out of combat, and when active, all other combat or movement actions are completed without interruption. Also, using this power will increase your chance of dodging ranged attacks that aren't projectiles. Increased levels of Blur will increase the duration of the power, and in its highest ranks, Blur can mitigate damage and also increase your melee damage. Next up is Cloak. This EGO power makes you invisible to the world, but only for a short period of time. Attacking or taking damage will deactivate the cloak and temporarily reveal you. You can disable the cloak at will, but its cooldown will be the same duration each time. Upgrading Cloak will reduce its cooldown, and in its higher ranks will trigger accelerated shield regeneration, and eventually you'll be able to extend its duration by slowing your movement. After that, we have Decoy. This EGO power creates a holographic copy of yourself that confuses or draws the attention of nearby enemies. The decoy will walk forward in the direction that you're heading or looking for its maximum duration or until it's blocked. Has a limited health pool and will absorb some damage before it eventually is destroyed. Continued upgrade of Decoy will increase the durability of the power, and in its highest ranks, EGO provides the option to swap locations with the hologram or destroy it in a damaging explosion. And lastly, Overcharge. This EGO power applies a bonus to the ammo of your currently equipped weapons. Simply put, you do more damage. This boost in damage only lasts as long as the duration of the power. Upgrading Overcharge will increase the damage bonus of the power. In its highest ranks, Overcharge can activate instant reloading and increase the duration as enemies are eliminated. Alright, you get all that? Now I guess the question is, which one do you pick? There's a lot of factors involved, like what playstyle do you enjoy, what perks are near the EGO power, what facet of gameplay do you plan to play the most, what works best for Shadow War, or what about the dungeon you and your friends are about to go clear? There's a lot to consider, so let me take the time to share with you some of my experiences with these abilities. Keep in mind that all this is subject to change, and is mostly just to give you a sense of what might work for you. For me, when playing solo or with a friend, the Decoy power is invaluable. Allows me to clear the game at a steady rate, helps with stronger mobs or larger groups. When things get chaotic, I simply pop my Decoy and everything will become manageable once again. It's great for dungeons for all the reasons that I just mentioned, but in Shadow War it's not going to do much for you. It's not going to work on an enemy. All it's going to do is give away your location. With that said, its use outside of combat is almost non-existent. There are a couple niche situations when swapping locations with your Decoy might be helpful, but generally it's too hard to plan for in advance. It's a solid PvE power. The other one that I really enjoyed was Cloak, but that's probably because I would join a Shadow War about once a level. Stealth-like abilities have always been a staple in player versus player games. Fundamentally, it's a huge advantage. Equipping a nice shotgun and sneaking up on another player is a great way to do well for yourself in PvP. But its drawbacks would have to be that, like Decoy, it's pretty much useless outside of combat, and when facing enemies it can be difficult to actually get into stealth since each hit keeps you revealed. So you pretty much have to run away to get into stealth. You might as well just actually run away and use another ability. Blur is a really fun starting power. It allowed me to travel quickly before I got my hands on the very heavy plane without wings, and for some time afterwards as well. It's a really nice ability for dungeons that don't allow you the use of your ATV, and it's probably the most useful ability outside of combat. This ability lends itself well to close quarters as well, helping you close the distance, survive better, stand your targets, and escape if you need to. Its survivability is okay, not nearly as great as the Decoy power, but you do get the speed boost for utility. Find which trade-off that you enjoy more and pick what works for you. I can see this being pretty useful in PvP, but I haven't had a chance to try it out for myself, so take that with a grain of salt. And then there's Overcharge. Not much to say about an ability that helps you do more damage. It's useful in any scenario that you're using your gun. Shooting at bad guys? Pop Overcharge. Simple as that. It doesn't have the utility that the others have, but it's a solid choice no matter what you plan to do in the game. All you have to do is remember to use it. It can be cool to get a free instant reload, and the perks near it are nice for offense, but in the end it isn't required for anything, and I find that the other powers are more useful for me. But that's just a reflection of my playstyle. Your preferences might be different. Speaking of perks, let's talk about your EGO grid real quick. Something to take into account is the location of the perks that you might be interested in using. Again, all this can change, but if there's one tip that I could give you, it's that you should try and think outside the box. I enjoy using Decoy, but rather than respec and move things around whenever I wanted at PvP, I simply also invested 1 point into Cloak. I may only be able to use one at a time, but that doesn't mean that I can't spec into both. This is great because it's allowed me to use something for both PvE and PvP, and now I have more options as well. I can branch off from either starting points and work towards the perks that I'm interested in. When it comes to what perks you plan to use, the best advice I can give you is just to try them out. I had a good experience with using perks that increased my health, It was great for questing, dungeons, and PvP, but that doesn't mean that there aren't better options for you, so find out what works for you and don't be afraid to experiment. Okay, I've rambled on long enough. What power or powers do you guys plan to use and why? Or have you already made it into the beta and tried them out? Which ones did you enjoy the most? Share your stories and opinions down in the comment section below. Take a second to like the video if you found it helpful, and share it with your friends. There's a link in the description for our Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Defiance. Be sure to check that out, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for more Defiance and shooter content. My name is Crazy Penguin. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the game.